Next up is height and width. The height and width properties, basically, pretty obviously, they define the height and width of the element. Width is really easy. Height can be a little bit more difficult to deal with. So as we're dealing with things like 100%, what does height mean if it's 100%? It's just harder to work with at times, and as you work with CSS, you will understand what I mean. So we are going to add 700, or make the banner 700 pixels tall. Where is .banner? Oh, ID of banner. So we are going to say height is 700 pixels. Okay, that will now change that to being 700 pixels. So notice how width is 100%. That is taking up 100% of the parent element. Set the pull quote width to be 350 pixels. Pull quote width is 350 pixels. Let's run that. Now, I don't know where pull quote is. I don't know what that was. Okay, that thing. Okay, it was this. So now that is width of 350 pixels. Notice how that's not taking up the full space anymore. In my opinion, that doesn't look as good. And also notice how they're doing all text center. Ugh, bad. Banner content H1. Where are you? Okay. Now they want to set banner.content H1 to be 400 pixels wide. Width 400 pixels. Run. I don't know what that was supposed to be. Banner.content H1. Banner content H1. So that was this. Okay, cool. So now we're going to add some borders onto things. Borders surround the element and the padding of the content of the element. So now we're going to add a dotted red border with 1 pixel thickness to H2 headings. So let's find H2. There we are. So we can say border is dotted red 1 pixel. Run. So now if we try to find an H2, here we are. It is dotted, it is red, and it is 1 pixel. Cool. Now we're going to add a solid white border with a 3 pixel width to the banner content H1 rule. Where are you? Banner content H1. Oh, evidently that already existed. Oh well. Border solid white 3 pixel. And you can do this, border. And you can do this a couple different ways. You can do you can just say border all of those things, or you can say border width is 3 pixels, border color is white, border style is solid. You can do it either way. Both of them will do the same thing. This is just a way to do it in one line. I'm going to run that, and you can see that looks all right. Cool. So now we're going to have a border radius. So border radius is how you get these little curves on the corners. It looks pretty nice. You can see right there as well. So we're going to add a border radius, 15 pixels, to the content H1 thing. So border radius is 15 pixels. So I have a question for you. If I change border radius, instead of using pixels, if I use percentage, what is that going to do? Let's think about that. So if I have a border radius of 50%, okay, what that is going to do is it's going to attempt to make this a circle. So if I run this, it is going 50% of the width and 50% of the height. And so it's actually an ellipse. But if this height and width were the same, the easiest way to do that would be, instead of width and height, I would just say aspect ratio is 1. Pretty sure that's a thing. Yeah, there we go. Now it's a perfect circle, and border radius of 50%. Now it is a perfect circle. So now you understand how border radius can be used to create different shapes too. Yay! So really just wanted that. Whatever. Okay, well, that's going to come back. Now, padding. As you can see here, there is a distance between the border and the content. Okay, that is padding. So let's just add some padding on here. Navigation LI, here we are. We're going to add 20 pixels of padding. Padding, 20 pixels. So now we're going to add padding in style CSS, share a, dot share a. Okay, you can see there's now padding on all of those. Dot share a. Okay, now we're going to add padding in, so let's see, is 14 pixels. Padding, 14 pixels. So now we're going to observe how the red boxes at the bottom of the page change. So we're going to hopefully see each of these widen a little bit between the content and their respective border. So if I go to here, yay, that actually looks pretty nice. Set the top and bottom padding of H2 elements to 20 pixels and set the left and right padding of H2 elements to 30 pixels. So there are a couple different ways to do this. Easiest one, notice how it's going to be the top and bottom and then left and right. So there's an easy way to do this. So I'm just going to go to padding. I'm going to say first is 20 pixels, and then I'm going to say 30 pixels. So the first one will be the X. I'm sorry, the first one will be the Y, and the next one will be the X. I'm quite certain. Let's see what that did. Yes, I was right. So this is a way to, instead of doing padding X 20 pixels, which is completely valid. I think that's valid. Oh, wait, no. I'm mixing it up with Bootstrap. Instead of, isn't padding top? Yeah, that's valid. So instead of going padding top, padding bottom, padding left, padding right, or maybe it's padding start, padding end, instead of doing that, you can do that with one little property, and we'll start with the X. I'm sorry, start with Y and then X. If you add two more, and if I do 20 pixels and 30 pixels, this will do the same thing. It starts at the top, right, left, or sorry, top, right, bottom, left. So this is top, right, bottom, left. So now it is how I'm alternating, and so it'll be 20 pixels with the top and bottom, 30 pixels with the left and right. If I run that, it should be the same thing. All right. So this is exactly what I just talked about, and it is right and left instead of start and end. So yeah, we already did this. Change visual padding H2 selector to use padding shorthand with two values. H2. Yeah, I already did this. Padding is 20 pixels, 30 pixels. It didn't expect me to do that the right way the first time. Using two values of padding property, set the padding of P to 10 and 20 on left and right. Okay, P, here we are. Padding 10 pixels, 20 pixels. Run. Cool. All right. Margin will be a separate video.